One of the things I love about watching the documentary is that, it's a story of XFM, but through that, we're taking a trip down memory lane of all the things that were happening in pop culture, Princess Diana during that time. So what can you tell people they can expect from watching this documentary?
I've thought about this a lot recently because I'm very old and knackered. And it occurred to me that the XFM time with Britpop, the death of Diana, the end of Tony Blair's time in charge, I think it was the end of civilization, really, like civil civilization. I think back then was the last time when bands had a chance of getting played at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, even bands like Seafood and the Llama Farmers, which had never ever happened before because of the Radio 1 control over pop music. And the same thing for culturally. I think everything around there was so, Union Jacks aside, it was incredibly powerful and positive. And everyone, all the jokes about Camden in 1995 were absolutely spot on. Wasn't it carnage, Keith? Wasn't it carnage?
It was pure carnage, and we were lucky to survive, Simon. I tell you that.
Certainly were.
Well, it was a brief window. There was a very brief window. And again, it was probably just before actually XFM got its full-time license, when the window was at its most opportunely open, where you could still break into the culture and change it, And before long, that window was shut, and I don't really see how it could open ever again. Or it's not even the same window anymore. It's not even the same building.
I think the music industry itself is a lot more cold and calculating and cynical right now. And streaming numbers dominate everything. When that's not the point of music. The point of music was something like XFM playing the Llama Farmers at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
It was when there was still a beating heart there, and not an algorithm. That's how I see it. Without sounding too much like an old fart. But unfortunately, I am. So that's how I'm going to sound. I'm hoping that the audience will take away a bit of romance. They'll be educated, hopefully. There's a lot of people who probably don't realise how primitive and exciting radio could be. And, XFM grew out of pirate radio. I think there's a lot of people who don't realise how dangerous an occupation or an enterprise that was, really, because, it's wonderful that people can have such easy access now via the internet. But you really had to, put your life on the line, quite literally sometimes, if you were going to get a frontier radio station up and running 20, 30 years ago. So I think this film will certainly be an education for people who haven't quite realised that. And it'll also be a useful memoir for people of my age who maybe just simply can't remember.
Yeah. These are quite handy things. Yeah, what did you do in 1995, Dad? I've got no idea. But this film will tell me everything.
Yeah, so my kids, my son's already, half watched it, and he thinks it's amazing, just because he can't believe that I look like that.
I think there's actually a line, isn't there, that if you can remember it, you probably weren't properly there, from one of the talking heads in the film.
Well, actually, I'm not going to spoil it for Simon because he hasn't seen the film yet, but he's got one of the best lines in the whole film.
Thank you very much.
And all I'll say is that it concerns the most famous person in the film, and I'll leave it right there. Well, because it was glorious, I suppose.
It was very glorious.
And, XFM was there before it began, really. And it just about managed to hang on long enough to see it happen. And I think it's really important historically, because a lot of people don't realise that XFM was doing essentially what a lot of other people were subsequently doing before they were doing it, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I mean, BBC Six Music, literally XFM was doing it, 10 years before? And, if XFM had got its full-time licence before it finally did, I think the landscape of radio in this country could look a lot different, but who knows?
Yeah, there was nothing like XFM at the time. If you talk to young bands or young kids nowadays, they've got Amazing, they've got Boogaloo, they've got Joyzy, and there's a multitude of radio stations, half of whom are just purely online. But XFM's it was a real proper station with a proper studio and proper madness. And it was such fun to be part of.
It was.
But at the same time, incredibly groundbreaking, really over here to bust through, the mighty power of the BBC and Capital to actually, have that impact was incredibly powerful.